Hi everybody and welcome to Betway's show on the Six Nations and everything rugby. Guys, Mark, welcome. And Z, always great to see you guys. Not really, but... it's an interesting start to the Six Nations. I did pick Scotland.
Yes, you did.
Thank you. And I did pick the under in the Wales game, so perfect 2 for 2 for me.
Did you pick Italy to have a great opening 20?
Italy always have a great opening 20, must be the pasta. Let's talk about, because there's some great games. There's 2 great games for me. Wales hosting Scotland in what people are describing in Wales as a must-win. I thought every rugby game in Wales was a must-win, but the way that we got manhandled by Ireland, maybe the score was a little flattering, but we were never in it. Never in it. And I never expected us to be in it.
Did think you had the nicer jerseys though.
Yeah, they're not bad, eh?
That red is wonderful.
It is, and that green's a bit of a putrid green, but we've got Scotland versus Wales. Wales, not many people were buying Six Nations tickets because of the crazy COVID laws over there, and now they're trying to fill up the stadium, but they can have the roof open so that the COVID doesn't spread too much. I would figure that with wind pumping in there, probably spread it quicker. But
Don't use logic.
Look, I think Wayne Pivak at the moment just wishes there was 19 COVID cases and call off this match.
Probably accurate.
A lot of injuries in the world.
A lot of injuries, but a lot of disruption. But again, the jury's been out on Pivak for a while. We said so last year. Some other kind of pox that Six Nations.
There's two red cards.
Yeah, and 3 of their games they won against 14 players. They took a beating against an indifferent New Zealand side, and they were smashed by an Ireland side that played well, and 20 points down early on. They were never going to come back from that, and it's all you read, and when I listen to things from Wales is how many injuries they've got, who's not available, the crisis within their domestic game, and you never used to hear that culture with Gatland. They used to just get on with it.
Spot on.
And I felt with under Gatland, they were a hell of a tough side.
Definitely.
Just tough buggers. And there's just this soft underbelly about them at the moment.
I would say very soft underbelly. And you don't you look to the future and you say, well, what's the future of Welsh rugby? Because we're not seeing a lot of stars coming through. People are even saying that Italy's got better development than Wales, and that says something.
Yeah, I think Wales will always have great talent, and we saw that with Gatland, what he developed under that, and he made them top 2, top 3 team consistently in the world.
Resilient.
And I just feel I've never been a Pivak fan that he was going to transform Wales into another level kind of All Black side, and very good at club level, but then also had the strongest players in that club setup. I just don't like the kind of the white flag goes up before the game's even kicked off, as if there should be no expectation on that side. They should be expected to beat Scotland at home ordinarily. Home ground advantage is so big in Six Nations, and but on balance of what we saw at Murrayfield and what we saw in Dublin, you would think that Scotland should fancy themselves to come away with a win. It will never be emphatic. Scotland's not that kind of side that puts anyone away.
I disagree. I think that Scotland's win this week. I think Scotland will win this weekend, and I think it'll be emphatic. I don't see Wales offering much resistance.
I've got a single-digit Scottish win because I also have factored in Mary Street and various other things that happen in Cardiff. Before and after kickoff.
Carry off the ball.
Yeah.
I like a Scotland 10 point plus win.
What do the bookies have them?
The bookies have it close betting, 1.65. So you're probably looking at.
But Scotland definitely the favourites.
Yeah.
Scotland the favourites,
So I like Scotland to win this game, and I think they're going to do it comfortably.
And what would I get if I'm going just Scotland outright?
You'd get 76 cents on your dollar.
That's the one I would be going for.
Yeah.
Conservatively.
Yeah.
A good 3/4 return.
Yeah, 76% return, yeah. Good return.
So, I've been pretty outspoken. I'm not on the Scotland hype train at all, but I think they definitely beat Wales this weekend, and I don't think Wayne Pivak is the right man there.
I've said that.
And I think they're staring down the barrel of a 0-2 start to their title defence. But
But if you really want to know, read Wales Online. They'll tell you everything.
Precisely.
One of my favorite sites. Go read Simon Thomas, very informed
Top man.
journalist, top man, and passionate Welshman, but also very fair in his appraisal of knowing when the Welsh team will be going down.
Yeah.
And I think he's been quite considered in his opinion that they're going to struggle to win a game, except when it comes to those great teams, the great team Italy.
Well, thank God we have Italy at home, because if it was Italy and Rome, I would be.
Colosseum type game.
Yeah, no, it's look, it's not good days for Welsh rugby. It'd be great to have a full strength team, but you can't make excuses. You know?
But look, I do believe. I think there will be life very shortly after for Wales with Pevek.
Yeah.
They've got good enough players.
No, sure.
It won't take long for Wales. In this climate of modern game, you can turn around in 18 months and actually become quite competitive. I think the key, we're probably not going to touch much on Italy and England because it's fairly irrelevant. Eddie Jones says that they're going to light up Rome, and then someone tweets it, even ESCOM could light up Rome if they were playing Italy. It's the one plus at the moment of Six Nations is if you have one of those stinners where you lose a game you think you should win, you pray to God that Italy's next up. 33 successive losses since 2015. They haven't won a game, and I don't see them winning a game.
Well, I guess we're
For a
talking
while.
about England and Italy now, right?
Well, that would sort of get that one out of the way.
Yeah. Look, England are limping into Rome, so I don't know what they're going to light it up.
Look, I'll smash them.
Italy.
Well, I mean, the tricky thing there with that, though, is that England have to bounce back from this game that everybody thinks they should have won against Scotland. And I'm not sure that a 20-point win against Italy or even a 30-point win against Italy is going to suffice. So, in a way, they are under pressure to produce a spectacular win against Italy.
Well, I don't need, like I said, it doesn't matter if they win by 40 or 50, it's Italy. So they're going to win it, they'll get the bonus
They'll
point.
definitely win
Then
it,
they're going to have
sure.
to go back and say, okay, who do we beat now to try and get us back
Yeah.
in the race?
Yeah, everybody.
Exactly. So,
And they will do it.
and if you look at Eddie's record in the last 20 games, take Italy out the equation, it's 9 wins out of 20.
Sure.
And in his last 5, it's 1 out of 5. So a lot of people are still looking at the Eddie that came in and won 18 on the trot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Post that, it's been that big thumping in the World Cup final. It's been that mix and match national cup that they won in the last minute in extra time. And then the Six Nations, they've really struggled home
Who
and
cares
away.
about that Nations Cup? That was a made-up tournament,
If we'd been there and won it, we'd care about
Then
it.
it would matter.
So, but the big one, the big one in Paris.
Stormers, Lions.
In Paris,
In
not Paris.
Yeah, it's an intriguing game. I mean, what do we take out of? Can't really take much out of the weather was supposed to be horrific in Dublin. It wasn't great, but it was horrific in Paris. It was drizzly, overcast, raining. It rained the day before. It was a pretty slick field, and
Didn't they predict like great running rugby weather?
yeah, I that's that is the forecast.
Can't
that I
trust
had.
these weather guys,
No,
man.
you can't.
Is that why Italy played the way they did?
That is-
they forgot that it was
They
raining.
bought the wrong tires.
Yeah. No, look. What do you read into?
Is it a precursor, gents,
Yeah.
to the 2023 Rugby World Cup final?
No, it is not.
No.
Because that's what everyone is saying.
No, no.
They have forgotten there's a team called South
No,
Africa,
no.
and as much as we've been hard on New Zealand, they will be there and thereabouts by the time the World Cup comes. People tend to forget. Johnny Sexton said, going to Paris. Not many teams go to Paris and win, and that will be their litmus test. New Zealand hadn't lost since 1973 when they went to Paris and got pumped. So South Africa win there often. A lot of our Southern Hemisphere teams win there.
Yeah.
So for Ireland, for me, have to go win there if they're going to be a contender for the World Cup.
Yes.
As brilliant as they've been in the last 12 months, they have never made it past the World Cup quarter-final.
Yes.
Andy Farrell and those boys have to show we can go and beat a very decent, informed French team.
Yes.
If we can't, what price do we have against potentially South Africa or New Zealand on neutral
Correct.
ground? Because every time it's happened, they've been pumped.
But how decent and how informed are they? I mean, everybody keeps talking about this youth brigade, and that's great. But if you look at Ireland's last 9 games, I mean, Ireland hammered Argentina. France struggled against beating Argentina.
Ireland hammered New Zealand, more emphatic than their scoreboard will ever say.
Yeah.
And France also were kind of on the way of kind of imploding against New Zealand, and they got the yellow card and they finished strongly. So I think this is a very good very good Irish team, and their systems are very good at with their 4 provinces.
Yeah.
I don't buy into the hype of this French team. I think they're a better French team than they've been for 2 decades. Galtier is a great
But
coach.
the benchmark was very low.
Yes, Galtier is a great coach, and they had a wonderful under-20 teams, 2 successive teams that have come into the system. But the one thing that has to be challenged with the French is their ability to deliver on expectation. They love being the underdog who will come in and blow the All Blacks away once every 7 years, or knock over the box in an unexpected game at Newlands, or go to Twickenham and just have this wonderful afternoon. But when they're expected to win, they've struggled. And Scotland in the last 2 years, at Murrayfield and last year in Paris, they win both those games. They win the Six Nations.
And Wales
they lost both those games.
Wales were very unlucky not to win.
Exactly, yeah. So I would like to see, for me, this is more a challenge of France, show us that you are this team. If you knock over Ireland, who I would rate on par with South Africa as being the best team in the world at the moment.
I agree, Mark.
And I think that would be a cracker of a game between those two sides.
How would you rank the top 5? Who in your ratings would you rank as top 5?
I would rate at the moment, I would rate South Africa, just edges Ireland, as 1, 2. I put New Zealand in still at 3, England at 4, and France at 5.
I would put France ahead of England there. I think England are a waning force and wrong coach. There's too many questions.
But to me, that's where your World Cup winners will come from.
So I agree with your sentiments about France and how they have to prove that they can actually win games they're expected to win. I feel like Ireland, to a lesser degree, are in the same boat. This is massive for both of these teams. Because Ireland have ambushed the All Blacks before. Ireland have had great things written about them. They've stumbled at Stade Francais before. This is a game they need to win to show that they, in a way, they're fighting for the same status.
But Ireland have been clinical in the autumn series.
No, sure.
They put teams away they put Japan away easily.
Yeah, 60 points against Japan.
They put the US away 71 to something.
And
they put Argentina away.
And they put Wales away.
Yeah.
And I reckon they're going to put France away.
And the 7-point try that Wales got in the dying embers of the game was from an Irish mistake. So the score should have been emphatic. Not that the score should have been a blowout.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Andy Farrell, after they beat the All Blacks in Dublin, said, we played the All Blacks 3 times in 2022 in New Zealand, all things considered that they can get in. Let's see how good we are there, and let's see how good we are on the road. We know what we can do in Dublin. And this is his first big test. You're going to play what people consider that informed French team, that the world's in love with at the moment because the benchmark was so low. Go beat them. And then beat them consistently, because that's the one thing that the All Blacks have done for the best part of 15 years, and what South Africa have started to do is we started to win consistently.
Correct.
And win well and win on the road. And to be measured as a top 2, top 3 contender for a World Cup, you've got to string together 3 big games.
Yeah, but the benchmark with the French mark was so low, and people forget that. It's like saying you're the smartest employee at Walmart. That doesn't say much. And I think that the level of the rugby that France were playing at that stage was abysmal. I mean, they were terrible.
Look, it's also, people want the West Indies to be strong in cricket. People want France to be strong in rugby. The romantics are out there, and it's like...
I think that's what holds them back, though, Mark. I think that France, if they had to click into this tactical game that they've flirted with and sort of backed Antoine Dupont's boot to win, I think France could be consistently successful. I think that they are almost hamstrung by this persona that they have, their reputation that they have to.
The French flair.
Exactly.
They have to make the impossible possible with the craziest ending to a game.
There you go.
You add to that they sent a B-side over to play Australia and tour Australia.
Right.
And they should have won that series. But let's not forget how bad and fucking awful the Australians are right now.
Terrible, man.
They're a shot. I mean.
And then they go and beat us 2-0.
Yeah.
Because of the water they put in Brisbane. The clubs our lads are at.
So where we go, I like Ireland to beat France.
Yes.
I also have Ireland to beat France.
Too.
And I think that they will beat them by double digits.
Whoa.
I'm going with an 11-point Irish win.
The medicine.
My roots in Cork. I'm wearing the Irish green, the emerald green.
Okay.
No, look, I don't see it. I don't see it that being that emphatic. I've given up on predicting the weather, but I'll make. I think Ireland by 6, 7.
Okay, so I didn't get to make my call. I'm going Scotland by 7, and I'm going Ireland by 5.
Okay.
Christ, I thought of you back at the Scotland.
Let's rewind.
And how about
The Scots.
what do you say in Italy versus England?
I'm going to give England 35 points.
Well, I think it's going to be less than 20. I think Italy's going to give them a carbo load on pasta. And
Now look, Eddie understands. No one goes on the gondolas before that test.
Exactly.
Straight from the airport to the hotel and to the ground.
I think Freddie Stewart and Marcus Smith tear it up. I think they just...
Yeah. 30 points plus. I'm with Zels on that one.
I think it'll be lower than that. But thanks,
All right.
guys. Thanks for coming in.
Well done.